This is another video just of QuickBooks Self Employed. I've taken advantage of an eBay offer of reduced monthly payments, and I have used this now for about 2 weeks, something like that, and I have entered various details. I connected my main bank account, which also connected my savings account, and also my PayPal accounts together. And I was thinking, well, what can I show? Well, I'll show you where I am. I'm not too worried about what I reveal. I probably will cover over stuff which is I don't want to be shown, but at this moment in time, um, I kind of want to show how this program works. And you basically have a home page. Now, this is picking up some of the things I have tagged. One bank account needs your attention, which basically means when I click that, it will show you my accounts, and it's at this moment in time trying to connect and download the information, because QuickBooks Self-Employed basically uses your bank account, and then you go through and tag what is personal, private, and what is part of your business. That's all it is. It also allows you to do things like record your mileage, and also allows you to record receipts. It's simplified. It's very, very simple. And it's turning into be quite simple, but there is times where you're thinking, oh, I wish it would do this, or I wish it would do that, or there isn't enough categories for you've got to be imagined, you've got to use your brain or something to try and work out what one to put it under. There is some employment stuff on it, but it's very limited. Not completely sure if it is P60 compatible, but I've entered the information and I need to double check to see how it's working it out. So it isn't all straightforward, but it is trying to be. Anyway, I don't mind showing my details there. So basically I've got PayPal up top here, which is my UK account and my general bank. And I've got a switch here, basically it's whether or not I need to use that bank account in my calculations or not. So we'll go back to the main screen here. On the left we've got the profit and loss, income, expenses. Now this is actually tying up my self-employed and employed income. I've done that deliberately because I want to see what the profit and loss really is, and I need to review how it works within QuickBooks, because I'm going to pay my tax through, at the moment I'm paying my tax through my employment, but near the end of the tax period I'm going to recall that tax and get it paid straight back to me. So I've got a bit of money to pay any tax, let's say. I've used this trick before. So you basically, as you work, you're paying for your tax as you go, and then when you come to the times when you need the money, you can sort of say, well, okay, I'll I'll fill out a self-assessment and pay my tax that way instead. Because you've got a personal allowance, normally around 20 grand. I need to double check that. Expenses, basically you've got very limited categories. You've got other business expense. Now, I am putting in, using that a lot at the moment. Cost of goods for resale, well, as I'm a reseller business, that is where, for instance, if I buy something from auction, or whether I buy something from eBay, or whether or not I buy something locally or something, that's the subject, the category, but it is not complete. That 943 is not complete. Nowhere near it. I've got to go through all the charity shop receipts. Oh yes, that's going to be fun. Property and equipment repairs is coming up here because I've bought some stuff for the property. and everything else. Very simplified. This is not complete. On the right hand side, it's basically showing you how much I have in my bank account and credit cards and so on, which is not connected. The invoices is the system to allow you to send out invoices. I'm very unlikely going to use that at all. I don't really have invoices going out. eBay and Amazon pretty much handle themselves. Mileage, yeah, going to car boots and charity shops. It can help with trips. It's not really. I'm not really using that yet. Will be. It's connected to my mobile phone. It's ready to go. And this is the estimated tax at the moment. I'm sure that figure will grow. So let's have a proper look here. On the left hand side, we've got transactions. This is, I would say, the screen you use the most. And just ignore all the numbers up here really. We've got a chart here on the left. It's not complete. It's currently showing 2017 to 18 profit and loss. So the loss is at the bottom. Sorry, expenses are at the bottom and the profit is on the top. Okay, so you basically get a screen like this and you have to go business, personal on, this is actually a receipt coming from my main bank account, and then this is actually an auction fee, £3. Hermes, which is a parcel company. So the way I do things at the moment is you click business and it's saying put it into other business expense. This is what I want. Now there isn't a decent place to put this, but these are the categories, and I would say there's not enough categories for what we do. And I think I would put in that one under, let me just check my notes here. Yes, office supplies and equipment. If I hit the information, expenses for postage, stationery, printing, and small office equipment. So I'll put that. And as here it is here. Now that's marked that particular one. Now if I click add rule, this will now say, I'm just going to, this will help mark all wording with the words Hermes in from my classic account, and I'm going to automatically put it into Office, and that's going to do it for every transaction. So I'll hit save. Now fingers crossed this is going to happen. This takes a few minutes. Now it says it's auto-categorized 38 transactions. So let's just see what happens if I type in Hermes. Sure enough, apart from the one I was selected, it's now got rule next to it. So now on my bank account it sometimes changes, but that word Hermes stays relevant. So Hermes is marked that one, which is good. My Hermes on this one is .co. So it is fine in it. Now if I go to the last tax year, please. There we go. It's got some here I've marked already. To say I've been using this for about 2 weeks. Everything's pretty much there. If I just go all, this will go through every single mention of the word Hermes from the imported data I have. So there's only really 2 years worth of data in here. You can put more data into this, but it's unadvisable because when you purchase self-employed, it's only concentrating on 2 tax years, 16 to 17 and 17 to 18. And I suspect it will concentrate on 18 and 19 when time comes. And it may even knock out 16, 17, I don't know, we'll find out. So there we have it. Everything here is now categorized under office supplies and equipment. I could do the same now for post office. If I just search for the post office throughout, you can see the variance and wording and how it's spelled in the post offices I have used. And they're all in the minus. So that's a big item. There's a laptop I've sent special delivery, and I've actually got a late for that. I'm going to add a rule to match exactly, because I want it to look for the word post office. Only my classic account and the past transactions are moved out. See, it doesn't take much time at all to do this. So we've now marked 66 transactions. There may be more. It's you see now my charts are building up here. Well, this is actually, it's currently showing the search post office, and it gives you some indication of your expenses just on the post office. If I take the word post office out, it's now showing everything. Very clever, like it. Now, what's happening to all those rules? If I go manage rules, there's something you might cover that over. So we've got the post office. Hermes is marked there, and this particular one is a personal thing which I'm marking out. Right. Delete that. Okay, so let's go back to the home. Here's the office supplies of 497. Let's go to this year. 326 so far this year. Okay. Not a lot goes out from here, so a lot of it goes to Amazon. So that's how to mark your transactions. I have a lot to mark. Let's take this easy live. I'm just going to type it in just to see. I'm going to type full word up and then let's get it full. I just want to make sure it's okay. Now this is from the live connection to the bank account. All this is from the imported transactions as CSV. The reason why we've had to import these transactions is, I think it's, you can only import 100, something like 3 months worth of data live to your bank, which is a shame, because as you can see the wording is different so when I export from my bank, which is TSB, it writes it like this, but when it connects directly, it writes it like this, which is annoying. So the best way to do it is to make your business rules, add rule. I don't use match exactly, I remove anything, leave it like that. This is affecting the classic account. I'll put the past on, and I'm just going through my notes. I think I have that one. That one is going to go to other business expenses. Yes, that's what I had it before, because I'm redoing this. So it's now marked 18 rules. So I spent, over the last 2 years, it says here, £54 worth of easy live services, which is basically a £3 fee. What else? Now car, DVLA. Let's bring that one up. Let's do this one. Pull up my registration plate. Lovely. Now I'm not entirely sure what to do with this one. For the time being, So I click that, it's already worked out it's going to be a car and van expense. Add, turn that off. Very unlikely I'm going to get anything else in the bank account matching DVLA apart from green cars. Classic. Apply to the past. Save. So it's marked 20 transactions. So for the last 2 years, I spent £228 paying £11.37 monthly for my taxes, basically. Now I am a gamer, so I can type Blizzard in. There's 2 payments I've made. I've already marked them as personal, and that's gone across there as personal spending. But I'm going to add this as a rule. That didn't work. Very odd. Let's delete that. So, what else? I also do gambling. Right. So if I type Ladbrokes in, this is showing you my gambling account. I put money in and receive money. So I'm going to call that a personal income. So we're going to mark this as classic, personal income, Ladbrokes. Now again, I'm not keen on that, so I'm just going to do it like that. Search for that, and I hope it will match uppers and lowercase. It does. And everything now is marked. So as we're doing this, we're building up rules. So any new transactions that come into your bank account will be automatically marked. So when the Ladbrokes transactions come into your bank account, they will be marked. Now, that means, so what's going to happen is you basically get this self-assessment summary, which you can use. Here's other business expenses. Marking it down, you can click on this and find out. If we were talking home, right, so let's go look at the cost of goods bought. Click that. It's now showing me items I have marked for cost of goods, so you can check quite quickly what is and what isn't allowed. We click on disallowed. Well, it's disallowed the DVLA tax this. Interesting to know. It's made that decision itself. Quickbooks has. It's taken an allowance for home office here. Now, I think this is a calculation that accountants use to when you work from home. I believe that's what that is. Repairs, renewals of property equipment. Put that. Well, bits and pieces I bought from Screwfix has been included. That's I actually buy like shelving units from them to store my stuff on. What else about the taxes now? If I click this button here, it puts SA 103F box numbers. So it helps you fill out your self-assessment by showing these things. In case you can print this out and send it to your accountant. You can even download it. We've also got reports, the profit and loss view. Very useful for showing your profit and loss for the year. Reports, and of course, the breakdowns, tax summary view. we just had a look at that. Tax details, which we can download in Excel formats, which is again quite useful if you're giving it to an accountant or so on. So what else we have? We have invoices, which I don't use. We've got the miles system, which you can enter manually or through the app, which will automatically track where you're going by using a GPS, which is very clever. So over time, maybe overnight, these numbers do change based on what comes through your bank account and also what changes you make to expenses. You could do all of this also on your mobile phone through an app, Quickbooks Self Employed app. It does pretty much exactly the same thing. So if you're out and about and you just want to do a little bit of transaction matching, you can do that wherever you are, really. The other thing, when we're on the taxes page, there's this button up here called Tax Profile. This will just go through your personal allowance. Are you married? Now this is where you should be putting in your income from employment, from your P60, and any other income. Now I need to study how this works because I'm currently putting in my income in my transactions and I want to see how it shows up. And then so there's a bit here which I need to work out. Okay. So the same will go if I go to last year, click tax profile, see the personal allowance has changed. So apart from that, you can also import transactions. Here's the bank, import, and you can import older transactions, which I have done because the bank would only allow so much. There was also a problem with TSB because it would only allow 150 transactions to be downloaded at a time, so I was spending a lot of time exporting and importing. Oh boy, that was a lot of work. PayPal has been fairly straightforward. It had links straight in and it's downloading transactions starting from the beginning 2016, which is fine. As I was saying, TSB only allowing that. Cash I haven't really done anything with. As I mark, I can import maybe some cash through CSV format, but at this moment of time there is no way of doing that for my cash account because I'm going to probably go through the transactions and work out which is cash and isn't. And of course I can scan with the mobile phone any receipts that I have, and that will mark as a cash item. In fact, have I got any here? I've got Sue Rider here, which was just a very handy receipt. It was a £2. They actually automatically scanned this for me. Automatically processed this. So there's the receipt. It was a little gain actually. I've marked that down as cost of goods for resale, and that's gone down as a £2 item. It helped fill in the date, who it was, and the value. Automatically it's scanned that. It takes about 10 minutes to do, but that's very, very good. And that is basically gone under a cash purchase, which is fine. If I had an entry like North Devon Hospice, I would go in here and then I would either find the receipt or drag it in, or use the mobile phone and take a photograph. I can record a little bit of information, or I could completely exclude it. All up to me, whether what I put through my account. So there you go. That is an overview of QuickBooks Self Employed. I am not a tax advisor. I have in my past been involved with companies and done work with QuickBooks, the bigger system. I've also worked with Sage, but I'm not in any way a tax expert. And I wanted to produce this video because it shows you what can be done with the program. And my bank account pretty much is my transaction trail of everything, and receipts everywhere. I need to organise them. I need to get them into one place. I don't fancy these expensive accounts packages. I just need something simple. And once I fully understand this, I think it will do the job. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Yeah, this is an introduction to QuickBooks that I did back in 2017. I basically was going through and installing my details into the online setup, and it was a very fresh QuickBooks with hardly anything in. It's now 2019, and it's time to finish off the video. So this is just really an introduction. What you see is mainly my experience of using it. The information I put in was very basic, and it mainly, when you put the information in, you basically connect your bank account up and you download the data, and then all you do is mark the data that you've got and you've downloaded. And yeah, I'd only just started. I was using an offer which was an eBay offer at the time. I am still paying somewhere in the region of about £7 a month. What it really does at the end of the day is this is a self-assessment report, and it's got like the business income, your business expenses, and so on. And you'll see that I was like putting some expenses in, and so on. But what I found is it will take out certain expenses, because you don't. It will disallow certain things like if you put down too much rent. It only just really takes like a couple of £100 out for using your office, using your home as an office, and the car. It'll take a percentage off how much you're using that as for personal travel and business travel. It will, and it's really just straightforward. I mean, there isn't a lot of control, but it does help fill out the P60. Right next to each of your figures here is a little box, which appears on your self-assessment form. These are the boxes you kind of transfer across. Now, that in a way is a bit risky, because you've got to be aware of where all these figures are coming from, because it's automatically working things out. And if you make a mistake, you could be submitting to the HMRC something that could be wrong. So this isn't a video about how to fill out your self-assessment. Far from it from taking any advice from me on how you should do that. This is me experimenting with it, and yes, I use it as a guide to fill out my self-assessment. Helps me keep track of figures, and yeah, you can just fill it out and so on. It doesn't submit anything. It doesn't submit anything to the HMRC. It just helps you work things out and whether or not you have an income, um, and, and so on. So there we go. It's just really, this is the bit from my laptop. I can't film my mobile phone version of this, but it has worked fairly well over the period. There is a handful of silliness within the program, and like the way it scans in receipts and links it up to items in your expenses, or and so on. It isn't perfect at that, but it does. But they have improved a lot over the years about how it will link together. So there isn't much more to say about it, but um, you might see me cover up areas of my accounts where I don't really want you to see. But um, this here, I'm showing you this page here because this is how I've worked things out. We've got allowable expenses here, cost of goods for resale and goods. That basically is my items that I'm buying to sell on, whether it's a car boot or a charity shop buy or something like that. Construction industry, no, no. Wages, no, don't pay myself anything. With I actually have a job, so that's where my wages are. This I don't really take anything out for myself. Car and travel expenses, it's just a little bit's gone towards my car really. 3,000 has been disallowed, so work that one out. Rent and power and insurance costs. Um, Basically, I am recording my electricity use. I think at that time, I could be wrong. I think no, I don't know. I don't think I am actually. I'm putting my rent through here. I think I'm definitely not putting my rent. It's too low of a figure. So it's other things probably like shelving or well, insurance and so on is here is here, and electricity. Repairs, renewals, or property and equipment that there I just mentioned, like fixing things, putting shelves up, yeah, and yeah, painting or something. Phone, fax, stationery, and other costs. At the moment, that's how I'm declaring my stamps and my Royal Mail and my Hermes. It's basically office admin allowances. Advertising and business equipment costs. Now that's our paying that one, because that box does not actually exist anymore on the self-assessment. Interest on your bank and so on. You've got to record your interest on any um, bank accounts you have. Oh, this is this one down here. All anything to do with interest goes down here. It may be wrong that figure actually, but accountancy and professional fees. I don't have an accountant. Professional fees I have not recorded. If anything, I would have put it in other business expenses. So this figure down here, other business expenses, is where it went in. So it's actually adding up to around about 18,000 in expenses, with about 7,000 expenses disallowed. And then up here's my income, which basically is my turnover from my business, which is a lot lower than my allowable expenses. So as you can see there, I have no tax to pay because I haven't made any money. So just take this as it's an accounts that I submitted back then. It isn't. I have a second job, and I did at that particular point in life. I was not focusing on eBay. I did have some Amazon going on, but I wasn't really focusing on selling. I was buying a lot. I was buying in a lot at that time, and then next year I was working more on selling. So I have a lot of stock. You don't record stock at all in the self-employment version. You don't fill in any part of self-assessment for that. So as you can see, that is basically what the program is doing. It is helping you fill in those boxes. That is it. And it also does things like invoicing. You can um, uh, keep an eye on your mileage of your vehicles. I am not, unless it is here, I'm not sure, but I am not doing it at the moment. Anyway, enough waffling from me, but that is just an overview of QuickBooks Self-Employed.